Let me ask you something. How do you react when someone builds a $4 million mansion right on land that's supposed to be yours, and everybody just acts like that's normal? No outrage. No protest. Just a few silent nods and paperwork sliding quietly into place, like the world's biggest oops. But the thing is, when you grow up loving old maps, noticing every line that's ever been moved, you start to pick up on the stuff that everyone else wants you to ignore. And in my case, what's Cheryl, our picture-perfect HOA president? Buried under all that luxury and stone wasn't just property. It was a broken promise, a park meant for children, now replaced with her infinity pool. And I'll tell you right now, I didn't just let it go. I dug, and what I found turned my life, and this whole neighborhood, upside down. So, yeah, if it happened to you, would you walk away, or would you start digging? I'm Connor. I just wanted a little peace. I'd saved up to buy a humble plot in Meadowbrook Estates. Oaks overhead, space for a porch. Dreams for quiet mornings with coffee, and no more neighbors blasting music till sunrise. Maybe I was naive. Maybe the realtor pushing me to close fast should have tipped me off. But I was 35, tired of renting, desperate to finally put down roots. That's when Cheryl pulled up, Escalade shining, designer sunglasses, the smile of someone who's already memorized your bank balance. She handed me a 5-pound HOA rulebook. Seriously, 5 pounds, like she'd smuggled in the IRS code for fun. No colored trash bins, no unapproved plants, mailboxes exactly 42 inches tall. She pointed out where my survey stakes were and listed regulations like she was reading my future out loud. I played along, but every word was a thread tightening around my chest, and when she left, I wondered if I'd just made a very expensive mistake. A week later, my neighbor, Mr. Jenkins, a retired grandpa with muddy hands and a gentle smile, ambled over, pointed to the empty lot and mentioned how the city once planned a children's park right there. Beautiful place, he said, playgrounds and all. But, funny how projects like that disappear. He murmured, then shuffled back to his tomatoes, leaving me standing with a 5-pound rulebook and 1,000 questions. 3 weeks in, a letter lands in my mailbox. Urgent. Bold red letters from the HOA. Cease unauthorized construction immediately or face legal action. Only problem? I hadn't built a damn thing. Just stacked some lumber by the oaks, dreaming. The violation cited a strip of land Cheryl had scooped up, abandoned public property, acquired for pennies, right where I wanted to build. The paperwork looked legit, but the price was off. The description was vague, and the timing was just too convenient. That night, I spread my survey maps and Cheryl's land deals across the kitchen table, hunting for patterns. Trying to figure out how my dream home had suddenly become an encroachment. But the more I dug, the weirder it got. I spent Saturdays in the city archives, blinking under flickering lights, combing through zoning records nobody's touched since the 90s. And here's what I found. Cheryl hadn't just snapped up one strip of land. She'd quietly bought up 7 abandoned parcels around Meadowbrook, every one of them perfect for expansion, all at rock-bottom prices. She'd been playing chess while the rest of us didn't even know we were pieces on the board. And the kicker? I found an old Harmony Park proposal from 1992, fully approved, fully funded with $2.3 million in taxpayer money. A beautiful green space meant to become the heart of our community, right where Cheryl's mansion was now rising, complete with blueprints, city council signatures, and photographs of kids playing on the swings, all buried in a dusty cabinet. That's when my blood ran cold. The park was real. Families used it for nearly 10 years, and now, thanks to some boundary adjustment, it was all gone, erased from every current map. I sent a letter to the HOA, attaching copies of the old park plans, highlighting the vanished boundaries in red. If it was an honest mistake, Cheryl could explain. Instead, she called at 7 a.m. Connor, let's not make this bigger than it needs to be. Why don't you come by? Let's chat privately. Her voice dripped with fake sweetness, but what she really meant was, drop it, or you're next. I told her I'd rather clear things up at the next HOA meeting in front of everyone. Long silence. The gloves were off. Suddenly, the violations stacked up. My grass was too long. My trash can was a public menace. My truck was parked improperly in my own driveway. Flyers showed up on windshields warning about troublemakers threatening the community. Neighbors turned cold. One morning, I found my tires slashed. It wasn't just harassment, it was a siege. The message was clear: give up, move out, or get crushed. But I wasn't alone. I hired Frank Miller, a lawyer with the patience of a chess grandmaster and the spine of a Navy SEAL. We pieced together my evidence, and he set it straight. Connor, this isn't just a property dispute anymore. If you're right, it's real fraud, the kind that brings down more than just an HOA president. He warned me it would get ugly, but I told him, I'm in. We filed a lawsuit, demanded a full investigation into the missing park. Cheryl's response? She countersued for harassment and defamation, her lawyer painting me as an obsessive, unstable conspiracy theorist. The first court hearing was a disaster. The judge ruled my evidence circumstantial, my claims personal. Case dismissed unless I found something concrete. I left the courthouse feeling like I'd been run over, watching Cheryl and her lawyer share a laugh on the courthouse steps, her mansion climbing skyward behind them. But then, Frank called late one night. He tracked down Richard Davies, the retired maintenance supervisor who helped build Harmony Park. Richard was scared, hands shaking, but he finally cracked. He had photos, birthday parties, kids on swings, Sunday barbecues, all taken right where Cheryl's pool was now being poured. And he told us how Cheryl, once she became HOA president, had systematically destroyed the park, first closing it for safety, then taping off the paths, finally convincing the city to classify the land as abandoned and erasing the records. Piece by piece, she replaced community joy with construction tape and condos. Armed with Richard's testimony and the old photographs, Frank and I marched back into court. The room was packed. People leaning in as Frank laid out the history, council approvals, construction records, maintenance logs, and those photos of laughter where concrete now sits. Cheryl's defense fell apart. Her lawyer pale, Cheryl herself visibly shaken. The judge, voice like a knife, ruled in our favor. Fraudulent acquisition, public assets destroyed, mansion condemned. Land returned for park restoration. 6 months later, I watched kids playing on new swings under the oaks, right where Cheryl's front door used to be. A plaque read, Harmony Park, restored 2024. Mr. Jenkins, tears in his eyes, whispered, thank you. And as laughter rang out, I realized this wasn't about land or money. It was about standing up for what can't be bought, holding the line when the powerful try to erase what matters. Cheryl thought she could bury the past with concrete, but the echoes of lost dreams brought an entire community back to life. So tell me, if someone tried to erase your story, your community, would you walk away, or would you fight back? Drop a comment. Let me know where you're watching from, and if this story hit home. Hit like and subscribe to QA Stories. Sometimes, holding the line is how we bring hope back to where it was stolen. And hey, what would you fight for, even when everyone says it's already gone?